We're still in the Christmas season and we're still in the first week of 2020, so it's still appropriate to say Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to all of you. Thank you for faithfully watching these videos. I'm amazed at the reach of social media, and am blessed to have Brent King, who manages these so well in producing them and getting them out to folks in the diocese. So thanks for your support as we enter into this new year. I don't know if you make New Year's resolutions. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. But New Year's resolutions, if you look at them from a spiritual perspective, are really an invitation for us to become ever more fully the person that God has called us to be. And so when we look at New Year's resolutions, in one way or another, they're an attempt to make our life better, to do something that we know we should do, or to change something that we know needs to be transformed, and to do it at the passing of the old year, to say, this new year, I'm going to intentionally, purposefully, really make a heroic effort to be the best person I can be. It's usually every year I make New Year's resolutions and then clearly fail to fulfill them, but they're still good to do even if we fail. I'd rather shoot for the stars and fail than not shoot for anything. So one resolution I always make is to be more prayerful and to allow more silence into my day. We live in such a frenetic, busy, noisy culture, and between work and raising our kids and keeping our house and cooking meals and running to sports events and doing everything that modern life really demands of us, it's very easy to put what's most essential on the back burner. And God is pretty quiet most of the time, so it's pretty easy to relativize our prayer life or to say, I'll get to that later. But we need to pray. And it isn't so much fitting prayer into our day than allowing our day to fit into our prayer. And that may sound like it's the same thing, but it's a world of difference. Because if we really come to understand that the reason we exist is to be in relationship with God, if that relationship is the core of our being, then to pray every day is the most important thing that we can do. And yet because of the world we live in, often it's the last thing we do, or we just run out of time. So one of my resolutions is to really say, prayer is the core of my day. And especially as a bishop, but simply as a Christian, I'm called to develop this love relationship with God through prayer. So whether that's meditating on the scriptures, praying the rosary, spending some moments in silence, going to a chapel with the Eucharist, but just allowing a little more prayer and a little more silence to permeate us, and to be very disciplined and purposeful about that. When we do that, when we're faithful to that, we come to realize that we actually are more productive because we're more spiritually grounded, we're more at peace, and we're more focused. At least I have found that to be the case. So one of my resolutions is just to find a little more time for prayer and silence, and to realize that that's the most important thing I'm going to do today, besides celebrate Mass, of course. So if you're inclined to make New Year's resolutions, perhaps one of them could be that. How can I find silence, a little more prayer, a little more peace throughout the day?